And now, how long is this little podcast going to last?
About probably 45 minutes or so.
Okay, put a timer on it.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Joanne, where are you from in England?
All right. I think we're good to go. I'm just going to double check this is all right. All right, looks good. Everything's good. All right.
So
Sorry.
First
Yeah.
question is you. How long did you live in England before you came over here? And
Yeah, so how long I lived in England? I lived in England until I was 6 years old.
6.
Yeah, and then I moved to the States when I was eight. So I lived in Ireland for 2 years before.
And you studied engineering?
No, but I do work. I make websites for a living. I studied graphic design, so I did illustration and that kind of stuff.
You're living in Seattle.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you're thinking about getting married.
I am engaged. Yes.
You're engaged.
Yes, I am engaged to my fiance named Brooklyn Castellanos. Yes.
Okay, I'm single. I'm looking for a nice little girl to marry.
Yeah. All right, we'll put that out there. I'll let anyone know how to get in contact with you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just going to, I guess I could just move into it and introduce you. So, hey, everyone. I'm here with Tennessee Luke, his stage name is. He's been kind enough to have me over at his condo today in downtown LA next to Pershing Square. It's kind of a nice overcast day. And yeah, today I'm just going to ask him some questions about things we've done together and things that we've got coming up, and then just what it's like to have been living in LA in this time period for him.
Oh,
What would you like to start with?
well, I graduated from the University of Hawaii in theater arts. My minor degree is in travel industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a security guard card that's current that I'm trying to get a job with different people who want to travel, who need a travel companion security.
Sounds good. Yeah, so I'll flash your business card up on here if you want.
All right. And so I came over to become a famous movie star. That's the major goal.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get in the Screen Actor Guild, they say you get a side job. So I told you about the side job.
Yeah. And we'll have to put up a picture of you from when you were young because it's quite great.
No
You're a
kidding.
handsome fella.
All right. Maybe I think I have a shot of my grandfather who invented the forward pass in football from Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
He was a famous lawyer in Memphis, Sam Costin. You can see him in Wikipedia. And he was holding me up by my ankles, and that's how Jesus healed people. He would grab their ankles and really scare them scare the devil out of them.
Uh-huh.
You know, he was very witchy, magic.
Yeah.
Anything he did lots and lots of magic. And so when he grabbed their ankles, man, it does something to your body. Because I've researched, I do study a lot of herbs and physical healing around the house. And the ankles and that part of the body is very tremendous in your whole system healing you. So I came to California and
you came in 1968, right?
1978.
1978. Apologies.
I graduated from high school in 68.
Okay.
And I came over. Glenn Cannon was my drama coach, and he wrote my Golden Rod. You have to have a Golden Rod to get a BA. And he's the original district attorney of Hawaii Five-0.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him were just like that. He liked me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I brought an old Volvo, and I would ride around the island and go surfing all the time, and he would catch me and want me to take him different places because he rode his 27-speed bike.
Mm-hmm.
Or he didn't have a 27-speed bike.
You do, right?
I do.
Yeah.
He had one of these Swin bikes. You know how heavy they are and big? I noticed it was, but he must have lived close to the university. It was flat because University of Hawaii, to get to it in the morning, the traffic, an hour.
Yeah.
And he just would ride his bike through there, like a creepy crawler. But he would get me to take him in other places. So we were best friends.
Right. So, what was it like? Where did you live? What was your first job in L.A. when you moved here?
I tried to get in the travel industry. So I went to all the travel agencies.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to know a certain computer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the name of the computer that they use?
Like a type of computer that they were using at the time?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you didn't know that computer, they wouldn't hire you. So that was a major block.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know to join the union right away. I would have joined.
The travel union or?
The AFTRA.
Oh, okay.
Well,
AFTRA, okay.
Yeah, it was free to join if you had $750. But I was smart enough to put an ad in the paper as a gardener.
Yeah. And
Carroll Ryder, he's a famous astrologer, hired me in his mansion. And by Waddles Park, he had a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Hollywood, off of Hollywood Boulevard. Curson. You go right up to the top of the hill. We've got to go up there to that park sometime. I'll show you.
Okay.
It's meditation. They go with your music.
Yeah.
Perfect. You would really love to see it. And I could introduce you to the astrologers because your music goes with astrology also.
Oh, thank you very much.
And Carroll Ryder hired me. He was doing the Los Angeles Times Sunday astrology at the time. And his sister was a billionaire, 50 billion. She was a 5-star general in the Army. And I think he knew I was controlling the weather.
Yeah.
So that's why he gave me the job.
Yeah. So tell me more about controlling the weather. You knew how you could do that as a child, right?
Right. And I think that's why I got this apartment also. And I'm on top of Bunker Hill, which is one of the richest real estate properties on the planet, Bunker Hill. And I'm 13 stories in the sky. I'm overlooking the city, and I've got a rainbow vacuum cleaner that's got a Rolls-Royce engine in it. And every time I turn it on, it just clears the sky like that.
Wow. So, how about you tell me a bit about working with Tim and Eric? We'll just get into that. I think people will be pretty interested in that, and then we can kind of circle back to some other things.
Okay.
Yeah, so how did that all begin?
Well, if you know anything about actors, one of their traits is they're very lazy. Okay. It's a lazy job, but it also is a black belt job because they make you stay in certain positions and you have to hold that position. If you know anything about getting a black belt, that's one of the last things they have you get in a position and you have to hold it for a certain length of time.
Yeah.
All right. So I hadn't worked in a long time. I hadn't done anything but lay around. So all of a sudden I put everything together. I had around 25 different auditions. And caught Tim and Eric. I did all at once.
What was your audition like for that?
It was very scary. It was just after Tom Cruise did that music and did that film about the monsters attacking the planet.
Yeah.
You know, moving with those 3 legs around.
Was it War of the Worlds or something like that?
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
It was just after that. And when I went into the room, they gave me a little sheet, tiny little 2 lines, and they wanted me to ad-lib that.
Yeah.
I said, I understand this. I've read it. I'm ready to do it like I understand it. But is there any way that you would like to see it? And that's how I think I got the job.
Okay.
Because they wanted to see it all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
And producers, they don't want your way. They want their way.
Right.
But
so that's the question to ask in an audition, you think?
Yeah, that's the thing to do when you get on the set. Until you get your etiquette up with them, then they will let you do it more like you said. But never forget, they always want it like they want it.
Yeah.
If you sign the contract, you're taking the money, make sure you do it exactly like they want it, and then if they will let you, they'll give you some rope.
Yeah. All right, I'm just going to pause this and start it again really fast, but we can continue talking. It's just for the video. So that's great. So what was the first thing you did? You worked on their actual show, or what was that like?
Ask the question.
Sorry, yeah. So after the audition, you kind of waited around to hear from them a little bit, and then they got you going on a production or something like that?
And it was...
Can you speak a little closer to the mic?
It was Scott and Bear Early Morning Prayer. Have you heard that?
Okay, I think I remember that.
You do that? Okay, I was the disc jockey, and it was 15 minutes before mic just like this, and it was very powerful. That microphone was very powerful.
Yeah.
15 minutes, I made $750.
Wow.
You believe that?
That's quite a good rate.
Really?
Yeah.
They paid good all along the way. They were friendly all along the way, and they were very business all along the way.
So they're powerful people, right? They have like a kind of a wrestler-like presence.
Yeah, they had very good etiquette, you would say.
Yeah. And you met David Liebehart that way, right?
David Liebehart was the producer of one of their first films that was Crimbus Special.
Mm-hmm.
They said, take us to a restaurant, and they fed us and everything, drinks. Came outside, the producers are coming, and this big Rolls Royce comes up with a moonroof, very long. And guess whose head pops up first?
Oh, I don't know.
David Liebehart.
David Liebehart,
I couldn't believe it was him. David Liebehart.
And what is his history? How did he get into the business? I think you kind of touched upon that recently when we were talking.
Yes, he liked me. I noticed he liked me. Just like that, he liked me. I think the reason he liked me is because I was a member of an agency that he knew the agent.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know for sure. But he was just in town for 2 weeks, and I just got through filming the David Liebehart show for 2 weeks.
And who was his roommate when he was growing up, when he was younger?
He was 6 years with Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
6 years.
So before they were both famous, they were roommates.
Right.
And that was in L.A.?
In L.A.
Wow. Do you know what part of town?
I don't, but I suspect Hollywood around Curzon.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I think it's really interesting for a lot of people these days to hear about like Scientology in the 1970s in L.A. I was wondering if you could tell me about your experience with that, and then what kind of like what was great about it, and then what things were difficult about it, and like what you ultimately took away from it as a good thing, and then things you think were a little bit harder about it.
All right. So I came to Hollywood, and I met a famous athlete. Marcus was his name. David Marcus. And he did the first original Gatorade commercial.
Oh, wow.
I think he had at least 6 gold medals in swimming in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
Or earlier. And he took me to the Dynetics, this church.
Mm-hmm. Is it the blue one?
Yeah.
In Hollywood? The Little Armenia area?
But they also have offices on the mountainside of Hollywood Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
Have you been up there, the mansion?
No, I haven't.
And so he took me to the mansion. And we did classes together. And I noticed they were very scientific.
Yeah.
Like, I told you I had a Rolls Royce vacuum cleaner. Detail you could see in the building and everything.
Yeah.
Every room you went in was detailed.
Everything was very clean, right?
Yeah, very clean. So whenever I was clearing the sky and controlling the weather, that was a plus.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Then I started reading about them. They didn't really. Mary Baker Eddy, I went to her church.
Mm-hmm.
They're very close. Mary Baker Eddy and this movement. And she kept saying that you don't depend on the doctors. You depend on your body and God working through it. Like I told you, that Jesus was grabbing people's ankles and healing them. And I gave you a breathing exercise to breathe out and concentrate on breathing in, and then breathe in and concentrate on breathing out your normal breathing through your nose. And this stimulates the blood to heal your body.
Yeah.
And so that was right on, because everybody is depending on the doctors.
Yeah.
And why, if you have something that you can heal off of. So I noticed they would heal me, and that everybody there was in the same mind. It's easier to win an athletic event if you have a lot of fans.
Yeah. Can I take a picture of you real quick? Just right here, just sitting at the microphone. All right, there we go. Smile. There we go. All right, that's a good picture. Cool. Well, yeah, that's really interesting. So what were some of the exercises you had to do when you were at the centers?
Was to study their material, read mainly.
Yeah.
And the guy who started it was a genius, and he was alive when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Do you know how he passed away?
Did he commit suicide?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was in an underwater thing, and the tanks they gave him were contaminated.
Oh, no.
So he breathed some contaminated.
So he was scuba diving?
Scuba diving.
Okay.
And he breathed some contaminated stuff, and it killed him.
That's very interesting. I'll have to read more about that. How about we talk about what you were hired by the government to do?
Now, 2 years ago, the government hired me to kill COVID. I think they knew that I would kill it.
Yeah.
This me controlling the weather in my Rolls Royce vacuum cleaner and all of that is all undercover. I haven't been discovered by the government, paid or anything. However, they did see me as someone who would heal COVID, so they hired me. And the contract was about this thick. Not like that. It was a big contract. And they shot me with their drugs, and then I would report to them every week. And if I got sick in any way, they would come get me and take my blood and test my lungs. And I never got COVID. The whole time I fought it off for them.
Yeah.
All the strains, they said every strain.
So every time you would get a little bit sick or something, like
they would come get me.
Yeah.
And they must came get me 4 times.
And they would test your blood or what?
I'd test my blood. They would test my, run the thing on your nose.
Yeah.
Lungs, everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They would physically, look at you.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
All over. Move your head, move around.
Yeah. So what type of exercises do you like to do? Because you like to stay fit, as I know. Like, we've been to the beach together and you were sprinting. Last time we were skimboarding, but what else do you like to do? You have a bike, right?
Yeah, 27-speed bike.
Yeah.
And I ride it 10, 15 miles in the city. One day I rode it almost 100 miles there and back to Pomona, to that 99.9 radio station. I won a $100 thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you go pick it up if you call in. And it was 100 miles there and back. But I used the mass transit a little bit. I noticed the hill to Pomona, it slanted a lot.
Yeah.
And the wind was behind me. So
was
maybe
helping?
Yeah. Because most of the way I rode to begin with.
Yeah.
And then I noticed, hey, I'm getting kind of tired. I better stop at one of these bus stops.
Yeah.
But it's about 100 miles that I rode that day, I remember.
So with exercise, like, what's important about it for you? Is it the way that makes you feel physically, mentally? Like, how would you kind of describe what exercise does for you?
Well, as I said, I graduated from the University of Hawaii, and everybody does yoga at the university.
Yeah.
So I'd never done yoga, and now I do hatha yoga if I want.
Yeah.
I can build it up.
You do it here?
Yeah, right here. I have mats all over the place.
Great.
And I had 12 varsity letters when I graduated from the University of Hawaii in different sports.
Wow.
But I never got a professional contract, and I felt cheated.
Yeah.
In that way. Is your
camera I'm just going to restart the camera real fast. I think it's recording, though. Just good to do it like every 10 minutes or so.
I ask that question again.
Yeah. So athletics is important to you. What does it do for you, would you say?
Well, I had 12 varsity letters when I graduated from the University of Hawaii, and I'm 73 years old.
When's your birthday?
October the 8th. I'll be 74.
Okay. So I was right in town the first time we met, I think, because it was like 2019 that we did the first music video together. And I was here for Pizzone Fest, which was my friend's festival that she puts on. And I remember we did the video, and it was right about that time because I know it was a year after my friends got married. So I think we must have been hanging out like a couple of days before your birthday when we first met in 2019. So you must have been 69 then, I think. Yeah.
I've been knowing Joe for a long time.
Yeah. So that was a fun project. I think that I came and picked you up here, and we went up, we drove around, and we got some good footage of you just kind of riding in the car with me. And that was a very fun, easy, straightforward little project.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember you fell asleep a couple of times when we were in the car.
Oh, man. For some reason, I was very tired. You remember I wanted to eat before. We had planned out we were going to eat. Yeah. But we must have not have planned before or after. And so I was kind of hungry and I was weak.
Yeah.
And I started shaking a little bit, so I laid down. But we made it through it.
We did, and we got great footage, and I think it looked really good, and it was just like a good proof that we could work together well. So we did something a bit more ambitious next time, where we went to a set in downtown LA, and my friend Douglas Bergdorf came and filmed, and we had like a few other props and things like that for a project that I haven't really finished up yet, or I think I want to do more stuff of that with you as well. So. But yeah, I think that like one thing I'd like to tell everyone about you is how easy it is to work with you. Like, if anyone's interested in working with you, like I highly recommend it because you just make the process a breeze. I think you have a lot of professional experience, so you kind of know what it takes to do things. And I'm just looking forward to doing more stuff with you later this year.
Well, to go on with that, was reading in Backstage West. It's a movie magazine. And they were saying how important it was to have music and comedy.
Yeah.
To kind of settle the violence. Because we're not going to get out of violence. There's all kinds of violence on the planet.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of music and comedy. So that's why I give your set extra energy.
Yeah.
And you do music. Joseph's music is celestial music. It's very good to relax. Do yoga, meditate.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that's great. I think that, music and comedy, there should be more of it because, like you said, the violence isn't going away. So it's good to balance it out with some levity. Mm-hmm. You would describe yourself as a comedic actor?
Yes, yeah. I would. From Tim and Eric, they kind of sealed the deal. However, I've been trying to get into some drama. Yeah. To give me some spice.
Yeah. Could you get a little closer to the microphone? Sorry. I just wanted to make sure. I mean, it's just getting. Yeah, there we go. That's good. What are you growing out these chops for?
Oh, it's kind of for a movie.
Yeah, it looks good. I feel like it gives you like a real like California 1970s look.
And sexy.
It's sexy for sure. Yeah, I remember when I picked you up when we went skimboarding last time I was here. I was kind of impressed by how you looked. You looked very different from how you looked before. Because I feel like the first few times we met, you've had kind of more of like a southern look to you. Like you wore those like kind of cowboy shirts and things like that. But last time we met, you were kind of wearing more like surfery 70s outfit, and it was kind of a surprise.
So the sideburns are for a love story in a movie.
Yeah, cool. Well, maybe we can talk about this painting. I'll put a picture of it on the video.
All right. I was working for a lady here in this Angeles Plaza complex for around 10 years, and she ran out of money. But good heart, I would go ahead and work for her. And she said one day, if I pass away, or if I could ever pay you, it would be this through this painting.
Yeah.
And she did have me to take care of her will at one time when she died. She wanted her body to be experimented on by USC, and she put me in charge. And then later on, she found a sister or a relative in Chicago, because she had me try to find her relatives. They went to USC, the campus. They studied there. She could have been married 2 or 3 times. She was very old. But I couldn't find her relatives. But her relatives did contact me when she did pass away. And so they wanted, the law here is you have to take everything out as soon as you pass away. And the relative didn't know what to do. She said, take everything to the trash and throw it away. And her apartment was really full. And I just broke my heart to take all that stuff to the trash.
Yeah.
So I left as much as I could in the hallway. And I went back, and her relative was moving very fast, was gone. And that painting was the only thing left in the hallway. So I took it to my apartment, and it was in my apartment for at least 3 months before I realized that I remembered what she said. And then I was working on a movie project. I knew I had this painting, and then I realized to try and sell it, because I was going to get some pay for 10 years of work. And I was working, and there was a college student from USC, believe it or not, that was very smart, and he was becoming my friend. I showed him a picture of it, and he said, oh, that's a Van Gogh painting. That's the first time I knew it was a Van Gogh painting. And so...
Wow. It's a real Van Gogh.
No, it's a suspicious real Van Gogh. It's a dirty painting. I suspect now, after reading all about Van Gogh, that he painted it in his years before his brother helped him by taking him to Venice, where he painted clean paintings.
And what's a dirty painting?
A dirty painting, you see that dead rose up there?
Yeah.
And you see some of the dead stems?
Yeah.
And some of the other flowers are kind of hit. They're not completely pink.
Yes.
On the left there, that one. Now, that's classified as a dirty painting.
Okay.
And that's what they did in his rural parts of where he was living in France or Spain. And it's unregistered completely. I'm trying to get it restored. And I think it was stolen, too, along the way. I think it's been stolen more than once, if you want to know the truth.
It's crazy how paintings like that can have such a backstory.
All right. So I've got, anyone want to contact me, I'll send them the whole package.
All right, yeah. We'll definitely put a link to all of the stuff you want people to get in touch with you via. Yeah, you have a website, right?
Tennessee, like the state. Luke, like Luke in the Bible. TennesseeLuke.com.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe we can talk about your the story you have about Elvis Presley.
All right. Now
this is a great story.
This is somebody pays you, you either get a check or you say, I want the money under the table. This is definitely under the table. I had 7 sisters. They were all beauty queens, and they were all older than me. I was the baby of the family, spoiled and beaten up. Probably fanticide. They probably practiced fanticide on me some, because my family was losing money. We were very rich to begin with. like I said, my grandfather on my mother's side invented the forward pass in football. He was a famous lawyer in Memphis. Mm-hmm. He got West Memphis inaugurated, Sam Costin. Well, my father wanted a boy to begin with, and he had 7 girls. He had 6 girls before he had one boy. Mm-hmm. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. And Tommy is my older brother. And I have a sister in between. Mm-hmm. So that did a major strain on the. I think is it still recording?
Yeah, we'll just keep that thought. All right. So that had a major strain on what?
So even though my family was very rich to begin with, 9 kids all at once. Yeah. They were 1 year after the next. It almost killed my mother. Yeah. And the doctors was, let me cut your cord, hit your father. Let's stop this before you die. Yeah. And he wouldn't quit because he wanted a boy. He wanted boys. Yeah. And so he lost all of his money. It broke him. Mm-hmm. Just like that, too. He had a real estate office, about 8 realtors behind him. He was in the building. And he tried to escape to Paris, Mississippi, in a sorghum plantation. Uh-huh. And Elvis was in a football league where they played touch football in the park, and the girls would go around. So when the girls all moved to Paris, they all would come on Saturdays and Sunday nights to our plantation, and they would park their cars, and there was a gravel road. Yeah. And he had one of these big, it's on them. When you drive through one of these ranches, you see them, and they have an emblem at the top. Yeah. And somebody stole the Liberty Bell. And my father was an auctioneer. Yeah. He brought it and had it hanging up there. Yeah. And it was huge. It was a huge house we lived in, too. The sorghum, this way he didn't have to pay 8 realtors. Yeah. To a business that wasn't making enough money. Yeah. He could just operate the plantation. And he was hoping he could hide the money that way. Yeah. But it didn't work. It worked for a while. Yeah. But about 20 cars would come there, radios and smoking. You see smoke coming out the windows, and they would sneak the girls out the windows, out the side. And Elvis was there, and Daddy would take that 10-gauge shotgun and shoot that Liberty Bell with double-aught buckshot, and that Liberty Bell would, and those cars, they would crank up and go in circles around the gravel everywhere. And we had 24 hogs. I had to get up at 4:30 every morning and feed 24 hogs.
Wow, 24 hogs.
Yeah, he had 200.
What did you feed them?
Corn. Yeah. Sorghum molasses. Any kind of vegetable that was left over. Any kind of vegetable you could think of, he was growing and selling. Besides, had a huge sorghum molasses plantation there where they would cook it, and they would bottle it and ship it all over. Yeah. And 250 head of Pole Hereford beef cows. Mm-hmm. And he brought a Pole Hereford beef champion, weighed 2 tons, for $25,000 in the 60s. That's about $100,000 now. Yeah. For one cow. Wow. To breed the herd. He had 250 girlfriends. I like that.
So yeah, when I came over today, you made me a nice cup of tea. What's the recipe you got going on for this?
I use all kinds of herbals, no caffeine. And
do you drink caffeine at all?
Not very much. Yeah. I notice it makes me shake. I don't like to do it. That's why I showed you this breathing exercise. Breathe out, concentrate breathing in. Breathe in, concentrate on breathing out. It kind of makes you, gives you yoga, kills relaxes diseases, you a little. Everything. I've used it for medical a lot.
And you said you're a teetotaler these days?
Yeah, I'm teetotaler, completely tea.
Yeah. How long have you been a teetotaler?
For about the last 25 years,
Oh, wow.
30.
What was it? Was there a reason behind it, or were you getting tired of it, or?
Well, I met a girl that she was a tea fanatic, and so I started following her, and she was a visitor here with me. I had her here for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and she was in the movie business. She played Wonder Woman at one time,
Yeah.
and University of Hawaii. I think the sorghum plantation, just tea is in.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for people about living a healthy lifestyle, like the benefits of it, or like anything like that?
Do this Krishna yoga that I've given you a chance to. You can do it at work, going to work. I know it's a huge market on the superhighway to get to work for some people.
Yeah.
Do this Krishna yoga would really keep
while you're driving.
Stimulated, awake, wide awake. It would really charge you up.
Yeah. Do you like to go to bed early these days, or
10 o'clock, 6 o'clock? In college, it was 12 to whenever.
Yeah. And what time do you wake up usually?
5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I noticed I was reading Jennifer Aniston does 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
And I was Googling some information. And she's on the wall here, you see.
There she is.
She's one
Who's
of
that? Reese Witherspoon on there too?
Reese. You
got Drew Barrymore?
And Drew. I love Drew.
Yeah.
And you know who this one is?
I don't recognize her. No, what's her name?
She's famous.
Teresa Palmer?
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
And
so how long have you been in this condo?
25, 30 years.
Wow.
And I have Dolly Parton on the page there. I wrote a song about Dolly Parton, or I was co-author.
Yeah. What's this vocal exercise you got here?
A vocal exercise? Yes, I do that. The Y buzz, E, and this one. So I have a bunch of vocal exercises. Now, Vincent Price was my vocal coach at the University of Hawaii.
Okay.
Very famous scary guy.
Uh-huh.
So I may star in your scary movie yet. And
so what's a vocal coach do with you?
We study Arthur Lesak.
Okay. Is that a methodology?
It's the rolling voice, the rolling how you walk. You walk like roll. You can kind of hold your body up, your head up, and whenever you speak, you do not use your lungs. You use your vocal cords. So it makes clear bell sounds.
So you have to focus on your vocal cords as opposed to your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Vincent Price played a big part in my life in college.
Okay. So, what do you have any thoughts on, like, what you see for yourself in the next few years? What do you want to do more of?
I want to do more drama.
Yeah.
And get a bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
However, it could slide the other way because I could do a funny thing in a major film that would explode.
Sounds fun, yeah.
Who are our most famous funny people now?
Oh, I guess, as far as comedians go, I'd say Kevin Hart's probably like the biggest comedian.
And the white guy, who's the famous one?
Jerry Seinfeld, I guess.
Did The Mask.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
So I could hit in that category between those three.
Yeah, definitely. I could see you in comedic stuff for sure.
All right, don't scratch yourself. It's not good
sorry.
to scratch.
Sorry, yeah.
They're telling you to fight COVID. Do not scratch yourself or, put your hands on your face.
Yeah.
Or even blink. It's not good.
Yeah.
Have you heard not to blink when you're on the set?
So you to restrain yourself.
It's very important not to blink when you're on the set. You know why?
Why?
Because that's why you capture the audience and control the audience.
Yeah, with your eyes.
With your eyes. When you blink, you kind of lose. You lose.
What color are your eyes?
Oh, bluish green.
Bluish green, yeah. And there's a pool player in the building, right? Would you mind talking about him a little bit?
All right. Now, at the Angeles Plaza, I'm a volunteer worker, and they mainly have me manage the pool hall. And I played some of the most famous people who have not been recognized on the planet.
Yeah.
Because the Angeles Plaza is kind of like it's on top of Bunker Hill, right? And it's huge. It's the largest, most modern senior citizens complex in the world.
Yeah.
And
so how old is this man?
99.
99, yeah.
His name is Archie.
Archie
Archibald. Archie, I forget his last name. But you can see him on this TikTok live. I usually play him at 6:30, 6 o'clock. We got.
I think it's still filming. It's good.
All right. So we usually play a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's 3 out of 5. And he's let me see some of his books are worth $700.
Wow.
And I've read them. And on my website, I have an invention. Luther Fortenberry's marker system, the Professional Touch, that I need a licensed manufacturer and distributor. So I'm looking for that.
For your billiard methodology?
Contact me through my website.
Yeah, it looks very extensive. I've taken a look at it before. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we can wrap it up here. Thanks very much. It's been great talking to you, and I look forward to working with you more. And I'll put some links underneath this video so people can reach out to you.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say? Any questions for me?
If you'd like me to close with the song that I co-authored with about Dolly Parton.
Sounds great, yeah.
All right. Cut, and then
Okay.
I'll put it on.
Okay. All right, thanks everyone.